Anything else we need to do before we get started?
No,
All good.
not
Ready to
really.
go.
All right. So make sure I'm in the right window. That's not the right window. There it is. Why is it the middle of the thing? Okay. All right. So if everyone's ready, in 3, 2, 1. Warning, viewing of this recording by anyone besides the intended recipient will be considered a Class 1 felony under new West Coast law. This is your only opportunity to cease viewing this message. And now a message from Captain Parker. Officer Cash Shio, I have been informed of some disturbing information that you must be made aware of. Despite your current status, you may have information useful to a multi-planetary policing matter. Your tax records report that you have received funds from a source linked to a particular individual who has also received funds from that same account. That individual is wanted for questioning by authorities on Capital World in Greenhaven. That individual is named Alex Carter, a PI and more recently an employee of the Colonial Office. He has been identified as having a connection to several murders recently and from a few years back, and so they want to be brought in for questioning if possible. If you run into him, do everything you can to place him into your custody. He's ex-military, so expect someone who knows his stuff and who can handle himself in a fight. And if he is the guy cutting people up, well, that means he's extra dangerous. So you might want to play this smart. And if you have information or the opportunity that can get us more information that lead us in his direction, we'd also be very eager for that. I know we're not on good terms, but if you are able to help out on this, well, I can put in a good word for you regarding your disciplinary issues. And if this guy turns out to be the murderer, I have a feeling it might go a long way towards getting you back in you-know-who's good graces. Seems this is a big deal for the folks on Lantern. It's been a few years since I've seen them, so eager to talk to a guy, honestly. I also shouldn't have to remind you that it would be best of you if he wound up in our hands specifically, and not the police on whatever backwater planet you found yourself on today. You know the game. Get the perp, get the glory. Good luck. Well, that's the message our friend Cash Sayo got at the end of the last session.
Thanks,
Alright.
physics.
Yes, I do have short-term memory loss.
well, thank fuck Cash was with me when the last murder happened, is all I'm saying.
So, for the audience, shall we do some introductions?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we should.
So I'm Dr. Izix. I'm the guy who's running this madness of a game. I'm going to try not to destroy the party too much today, but we'll see how that goes. Ben, what's up? Who are you?
All right, I do the Beige and the Bold podcast. It's at vanvelding.com.
Cool. Peter.
I am Peter Taylor TX. I do YouTube and Twitch stuff. And in this game, I'm playing the Decker hacker role. So if there's something with the mechanical, I'll try to take it out. And then Izix gets complaints that I just destroy all of his robots.
Kevin?
I am Gepwin. I do YouTube things, and I am playing Simon Xander III, who is just old and tired and doesn't want to be attacked by any more robots.
Good place to be. Good headspace. Malik?
Hi, yeah, I'm Melik. I am playing Alex Carter, as you heard in the intro, a ex-military private eye, currently chasing down a case that I've been chasing down for a while, and now I'm getting implicated in it. But hey, you know, at least everybody who's with me currently did actually know that I didn't do the last one at the very least, and most of them know I didn't do any of the previous two, especially Miranda and Ethan, who I'm still suspicious of. But hey, you know, it's always the quiet ones. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Blah.
So, I got a little description for the liftoff of this spaceship if you guys are interested in listening.
Yeah.
All right. So, the crest ship shakes and shudders as it rises through the thin atmosphere of Kosambi. Though the vessel is mostly intact, it's quite obvious that it is not airtight, as there is the sound of air escaping the interior as the vessel travels to an altitude with even thinner air than what you had been enduring for the last while. A slight whistle that shows that even only going up this high has brought you to a much more deadly environment. The temperature drops, and all those lacking spacesuits spacesuits of various levels of protection of that level. I really screw that up as far as description things. Those without spaceship suits begin to feel the sting of the cold. Thankfully, according to Hera, the flight won't last that long, and so you are not in danger. At least from the cold. Who knows what else might be happening though?
well, let's keep it a little bit lower. But yeah, ultimately, if it's just a whistling air escaping, then that's not as bad. It means it's a very small hole.
And you guys who are bundled up with the super winter coats, even those are starting to you're getting kind of chilly right now. It's like, well, any less air, and we're going to be almost in space. So.
Don't worry, guys. Once the oxygen levels drop below a certain level, you'll all fall unconscious, and me and Melandra will dissect your bodies.
Yay!
I was gonna put an ice pack on my leg, but that seems kind of redundant now.
Yep. So you are the only one with a minor injury at this point. But let's find out if you guys get any more today. So I have on the map here. You guys are. Situated in the vehicle. I just sort of arranged you. You feel free to rearrange yourselves if need be. And for the first bit of today's session, we're actually going to be in transit as you are screaming through the over the planet's surface towards your destination. You are in a spaceship that was formerly crashed now with a bare minimum of fuel, and we lost somebody.
That's me. I
Peter,
right-clicked and
come
went
back.
out.
Okay. And where was I? Oh yeah, and this spaceship appears to have some sort of AI that has been in at least a standby mode for quite some time. And she speaks up about a few minutes into your trip here and says, "You mind if I attempt to make contact with local communication systems? I am eager for information."
Please don't. You've been offline for quite some time, and there were some robots who were looking to dismantle you from the looks of it. So I think keeping quiet might be best in everyone's best interest.
Explain.
Well, there was some life on this planet before, and they seem to be, the robots are all automated, and they're trying to disassemble things. So if you tell them, they think that we're here and this ship's good salvage, they may just try and salvage you, and that's that's not going to be good for you or anyone on board. And that's your prerogative, protect yourself and the crew. Yeah.
Understandable. I think there was misunderstanding that I wish to communicate with a beacon that is identifying itself as Kosambi 1.
Physics, is that the weird clone thing?
Yes, that's their base.
Yeah, I thought it would. I assumed it would be. I'm going to turn around to everybody and say, what do you think, guys?
I mean, the whole reason we're flying this rig not there is so they don't know about it. It would defeat the purpose to communicate with them now.
Yeah, I mean, we could have stayed where we were for the other ship was nearby, but we because the robots were dealt with anyway.
Yeah, they saw us take off though from one of those little buses.
True.
So.
That is true.
I mean, given that we decided to fly this thing to a group of robots, it's a hell of a time to be sensible now.
Well, given
Not that I'm
guys.
against it.
If they do come after us, it might distract the robots.
True, but also given the nature of this AI, it doesn't know about that base overall, so it's not going to want to abide by any of their regulations and orders. So it should be. The question is, would the beacon be detected by the robots?
These are all unknowns. guys. There's so many unknowns.
Decision times.
Maybe we should ask the GM.
Well, you do have a couple of NPCs here you could ask as well.
Well, I did kind of ask everybody when I was.
Melisandre seems semi-disinterested. Eli is kind of gripping the armrest with and his fingers are digging in, and he's like kind of freaking out. But he might be either one of them might be, if they're addressed directly, willing to give their input, but they seem a little distracted or disinterested.
Good advice, then, is he?
Yeah, talk to the scared scientist who's totally not a direct stand-in for the GM.
I still think he might be a fucking psychopath, but hey, that's just me.
So, you gonna ask him something?
I don't know. I'm kind of okay with knowing what I know. It's really up to anybody else whether they want to say anything.
Actually, Hera, what information would you actually want to get from the beacon?
I am looking for updated star charts and various other bits of information. I have a protocol that it encourages me to collect all information that may be of use.
Well, since you're not currently space worthy, star charts won't be of much use to you at the moment.
That appears to be correct.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There was another reason, of course, that I feel I should obligate to inform you of.
Go on.
I would like to verify that the claims made to encourage me to be cooperative are correct. I trust you, but I also wish to verify.
Completely understandable.
That's pretty wise.
And your resistance to me communicating gives me some doubt.
If you can
Eh?
you keep the communication brief so that the robots that are after you don't triangulate our location, I have no problem with it personally.
We've
I
got a
will
ship in
attempt-
orbit, right?
Yeah, there is the Cairo in orbit, yes.
I'd much rather she talk to the Cairo.
I think they'll have more up-to-date star charts. If that's what you want as well, you might as well pick them up.
So I can communicate to vessel in orbit. Understood. Shall I do such?
Yeah, if you feel like you want to, then go ahead. I've got nothing against it.
Yep,
I'll use tight beam if possible to avoid detection by ground-based targets.
It's certainly going to be a lot safer than trying to communicate with the ground, given the situation down here. Yeah, go for it, Hera. I'm not going to complain.
Right.
I'd say
So-
tight beam or nothing at all. If we're detected, we could all die.
So I will say that's a pretty crap roll, but she comes back with a bit of a communications diagnostics from that, and she believes that she was not it's unlikely she was detected by anything on the ground.
Great.
She
Unlikely.
actually has a pretty good skill there. So-
Unlikely, and the words bad roll.
Yeah.
My database is very full in the limited space I have here, and the information I'm collecting is going to further limit me. So if I have and she just keeps going like that for like 30 seconds
Fair enough.
until she just shuts up.
So the only important thing about this rig is the data on it, right?
Melisandre, kind of snaps back into the conversation. Data, potentially. It was an object of interest to our employer.
I mean, yeah, but he doesn't need a centuries-old beat-up junk ship, does he?
I do not know if he needs the ship itself or just the equipment upon it.
I say we get her to upload the data to the Cairo, and we can just gamble on the hull itself.
Well, if we can get enough fuel to get into orbit, enough of us have got suits to be able to survive. Maybe we can find some equipment to patch up the ship. I'm not much of an engineer, but maybe one of you guys would know how to do that.
Oh, absolutely not. But I think we should consider that a nice to have.
Nope.
No.
Great.
Yes,
I don't know how to put on a suit.
Melisandre's not going to be much help there. Eli less so.
Right. So the closest person we've got to someone who is sort of spacey is me, and it's all entirely the usage of spacey things rather than maintenance or anything.
We're all we're all users, no makers.
Yeah, right.
Well, you do have a robot friend back at the base who may have some expertise in some sort of engineering. It's not entirely sure what. And if you were to spill the beans about the ship to the clones, maybe they have expertise.
On the other side, we're going to a drone facility that has some kind of self-repair system.
Maybe.
If only someone could reprogram it to repair a ship.
Hey, maybe they will.
So our
So,
option
Go ahead.
is that we either ask the clones for help and lose whatever secrecy Melisandre's mission had, or we plan for 4 or 5 of us to hoof it back to the clone base. Is that right?
I just don't think Hera's going to want to transmit all of her sensitive information to another ship, but we can always try.
We should definitely try that.
So you are wishing me to upload all my data to your ship in orbit?
Yes, please.
Evaluating. I believe that we may have a impasse of sorts.
Of course. What is it?
I need confirmation that you are not a threat to the Mirme Haki Empire.
Okay, guys. Question is, Izzy, have I ever heard of that empire?
Oh yes, the Mirme Haki are one of the major powers. They are basically. I can show you guys quickly on the big map up here.
Okay, cool.
So when that loads in, they're the purple empire of the.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So you guys are in Lantern space, which is the yellowish, the lower left. Mirme Haki are the ones that are a little bit more dispersed, but kind of filling up the upper half in spots there.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they were a dead civilization that the AI wouldn't have to talk to.
Same.
Now they may have evolved several times, throughout their long history, but they are one of the older human space empires out there. Lantern, and being another one of those, and they're for the most part sort of disengaged from a lot of the other sort of politics in the known galaxy. The most recent exception being their involvement in the Greater Core War, because they're kind of pulled into it along with everybody else. So it's sort of, they're been on the isolationist side. They have some weird politics sometimes. They got an emperor who is actually an absolute emperor, but is very hands off most of the time. So.
Now, I was involved in some conflicts. Would I have been? Because I would have been on Lantern's side, I'm assuming. Would that have involved the Mirme Haki?
Yes. It was at points a conflict that had very shifting allegiances. There were a couple points where Lanton was working on the same side as Mirahaki, other times working against them. So to say it was sort of a cluster of madness there is maybe an understatement.
And how is the current piece, though?
The things have been at peace since the Greater Core War, and Lanton is generally on good terms with Mirahaki.
Okay.
So, look, I'm just a police detective. I have a gun. I'm not really a threat to any empire.
All right,
Next person.
Let's go back to the thing here.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you here, Hera. We're not really big operators. There's no big wars going on right now. We're just trying to do our job, and we got you online. So whatever your mission is, it's getting you space-worthy is probably what both of us want. So at the moment, yeah, if you dock with the ship and you wanna go somewhere else after that, you wanna regroup, then cross that bridge when you get to it. But for now, let's get you fueled up and repaired, and we'll talk about that sort of stuff later.
I need to verify that there is not current hostilities. I hope
sure.
you understand.
Yeah, go for it. As far as I'm aware, there aren't actual live hostilities, are there?
Nope.
No,
Nothing you're aware of.
Cool.
Unless things have changed very quickly in the last day or so.
Do we know how the clones actually feel about the Mirahaki Empire?
Yeah, I don't think it's ever come up.
Because if they don't like them and she connects to the beacon,
But she's talking to the ship at the moment anyway. She's talking to the ship at the moment anyway.
Alright. So Hera is going to attempt to communicate again with the Cairo. Alright, it's a better communications role there. And she is going to attempt computer operations. And she is actually going to get all. She
Turns out
communicates to the Cairo's computer, downloads what she needs to get, and she comes back with a. I do not believe there is hostilities between you and the Mirahaki Empire. I will be of service in this case.
excellent.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna nod and be happy with that. It's like, saves me having to try and somehow detach a fucking AI. It's like, I don't think I'd be too good about that. I'd probably get Mal to do that.
So is she going to transmit that data or not?
Would you like me to transmit data?
Yes, please.
Transferring. All right, and she comes back a few minutes later with a data transferred. Logs and important information from travels in this vessel are complete.
And that's up to the Cairo, yeah?
Yeah, assuming the Cairo, let everything in and actually saved it properly.
Hey, we've got something. So that's a part of Malahandra's mission done, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if this ship has information that's important to Mirahaki, that's probably what we're looking for.
So it depends. Is it the ship itself, something about the ship? There's the data and also the AI. So there's three possibilities of what the mission could have been for.
Agreed.
Information should have been gathered, but the AI and the ship itself is here.
Yeah, well,
The AI seems pretty clever.
Mal, know that just sort of uploading the AI to the Cairo is probably not going to work because it's just so much more extensive as far as software, and there's the hardware issue.
Not to mention the sheer amount of data.
AIs tend to not necessarily go through properly unless the hardware is basically designed for them to be properly able to operate on it.
That makes sense.
Things could get mangled. And Hera's probably going to be very resistant to an upload like that. Anywho, Hera then mentions, I feel I should be obligated to inform you that if you had been determined to be hostile to my the Mirame Hockey's interests, I may have to have had to crash the ship here. Ha 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 ha. I'm glad that was not necessary. I do not like death.
Good, an AI with a sense of
Wow.
humour.
Hey, Hera, do you have any cargo?
I have presently boop, 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 at least 5 passengers.
During your initial flight, did you have any cargo?
Not initially, no. There were some supplies moved upon me at some point during the initial flight of the mothership, and as such, for usage in case my landing capabilities were necessary.
Do you have any manifest?
No.
Is that cargo still on board or was it removed?
I do not know.
All right. Are your specifications the same for other ships of your class?
They should be, yes.
What do you mean they should be?
I am unaware of any modifications to this vessel's structure.
Hardware and software?
The same, yes. Oh,
Roger.
though in reasonable assumptions, I suspect now that the computer hardware was probably upgraded. Otherwise, I would be less functional than I am now.
That's good to know. Do you have a copy of your specifications?
I believe I had a copy of the specifications. They are likely in my compressed files.
Is that part of the information you sent to the Cairo?
No.
Could you send it to the Cairo?
Stand by. And Paris starts thinking for a while. As you do, you start getting a sense, Malik or Alex, that you're approaching your destination.
Cool. That's pretty much what I've been doing. I've just been monitoring consoles. What percentage of the flight is actually me, and what percentage of is Hera at this point?
For the moment, she seems content to let you control, but you're probably about 70% certain that if something weird happens, she could probably take over in a pretty quick snap, assuming
Okay.
she's not distracted by something else.
No, as I say, I'm just going to be monitoring it, doing course corrections, plotting a vector, seeing if I can get access to sensor equipment so I can get a better idea of where we're planning on landing.
You will notice that things like sensors seem to kind of go between very bare minimum and like full sensor suite. So you're not certain if it's a hardware issue that something's flickering on and off, or she's taking over for a few moments and it's just sort of distracted the system entirely
Okay, no
for you.
No problem. As long as I get some idea of what's going on and I've got some control.
All right.
Well, if we have some time before we land, let's find this cargo bay where there may be survival supplies.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
While
So,
they're doing that, I'd like to see if I can communicate with the Cairo and compare her specs to whatever they might have on file for the ship.
All right. So you can get on the communications. Give me a communications, electronics operations communications roll if you've got the skill. If not, I'll look up the defaults.
Yeah, I do not.
Either way, this is a pretty easy system, and you'll get a +4 to whatever skill yours is. So.
All right, I have computer operations. That's it.
Electronics repair. Electronics operations. IQ -5 is the base. So a total of -1 to your skill, or to your IQ. So give me a roll.
So it's a 10 out of 10.
All right. And so that makes it exactly. You're able to communicate to the Cairo without alerting the robots down below. So that's good.
That's a nice bonus.
You can make a request to the captain. He's like, well, this is, he has a very very thick sort of Russian-y accent, by the way, but he communicates. He sends down some specifications for what they have on file for a ship of this class. It's sort of in the archival sort of format. So it's not a complete detailed schematic or anything like that. It's sort of this is what should be, this is what's sort of the Wikipedia articles opposed to the full engineering specs.
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
It's not a tech spec. It's
All right, I'll spend the rest of the flight comparing that to whatever Hera will give me on herself.
All right, and you'll start communicating with the AI, and for the most part, things seem to be either she doesn't know or things match up pretty much exactly. So the rest of you guys are searching around for
supplies and
cargo containers,
loot and stuff.
Well, they said there was cargo loaded, so I'm guessing there's a cargo bay.
Well, she said there was cargo loaded, but she didn't know if it had been removed or not. So that's interesting in its own right.
Well, there is some overhead sort of compartments you can quickly search through. Most of them seem to be empty. There is a couple, sort of like old medical supply, kit things. Who knows after so many years if they're going to be any good for you.
Old medical supplies that will probably kill you if you use them.
There does appear to be a small suitcase. Inside it's a bunch of clothes. And that's it. So someone's bag. There is a panel in the floor near the back. If you wish to investigate that, I can give you a bit more information.
I'm just remembering the last time we opened a panel on the floor of a spacecraft.
Well, we're in atmosphere. It's fine. Investigate with what?
So, you just let me know if you're opening the panel. So,
Yes.
all right. So it's a little stuck, but it does come open, and there's not a huge rush of air out. So that's good. It's appears to be access to a small cargo space under on the belly of the vessel. It's sort of crouching sort of levels of space there, but you can slip down there, and there does seem to be several crates of future plastic crate stuff. You can give the inspection of the labels, and they appear to be in Russian.
Oh, goody.
Does anyone know Russian?
Can we just open them? I'm envisioning those weird round crates like in KOTOR.
Yeah, if you open it and it's full of Novichok, I am going to be very disappointed with you.
So you pull open the first one, and you get a very interesting sight, and you're kind of glad that you have a face mask over your face there, because it appears to be a whole bunch of rotten food. Like, a lot of it in sort of like plastic containers, but the plastic itself is degraded, and the contents were exposed at some point, and just all sorts of nasty there.
Aye. Prison wine.
So the second crate is appears to be a collection of spare parts for some sort of something mechanical, perhaps.
Spacecraft line.
And the third crate has something mechanical?
The second crate does.
Yeah, but then this is supply parts, so maybe the third crate has whatever this repairs.
Yeah. The third crate, which is the last of the trio, of any note, there is one that's open on the corner. Appears to be where's my notes here? Appears to be. Did I not fill this out properly? Well, let's go with. That wouldn't make any sense in this case. The third one. The third one. Here's a more interesting option than I was thinking of. Appears to be some sort of computer system.
Ooh.
And by the way, it's obviously not plugged into anything. It's not powered up. It's completely shut down. It's completely isolated and in parts.
Are we
as well, so
talking?
it's sort of
Are we talking portable size or not a portable size?
like a partially disassembled rack computer. So like
Okay, it's not really portable, but you could
So,
carry it
not-
if you.
so you could lift it, but it's not going to be like a laptop.
Yeah, it's something we can maybe use in the future somewhere else, but we can't like, carry it with us and use it on the fly.
Yes.
But if we need to upgrade someone's memory,
Or offload an AI to something we can move if it's big enough storage.
You'll have to investigate that, won't you?
yeah, it's like we need
Yep.
a computer expert.
Yeah, so I am obviously the moment you say computer stuff, I was like, okay, I'm going to have a look at that stuff.
I could
So-
assist with some computer stuff.
So they
Here,
obviously
take over the flight.
No.
Either you look at it or I kick it and see if it turns on.
admittedly that will fix most stuff. So,
Need the computer expert to look at the computer, I think.
and then if it's broken, you can give it a gig. That fixes stuff. Yeah, let's have a nosy.
Right,
Let's see what we got here.
So give me a computer operations roll.
Yes, that versus a 12.
You quickly determine, the things seem to be generally intact. You can, if you plug a a power cord into it, you can turn it on, but it is not portable, so it does not take normal cells. It's sort of a
Mains power.
this is supposed to be like installed somewhere.
Based on what I know about just looking at it, is it going to be something powerful for like maybe the AI, or is it more of a custom unit for certain like just normal use?
It seems to be mostly for normal use.
Okay.
You will also, given sort of your general knowledge about computers, can also guess that the storage medium on this is probably a little degraded as far as like the actual data on just over time. Even in the future, storage medium does start getting errors on it just from caustic rays or whatever, sort of knocking around the electrons in the wrong way. So it's probably not going to boot up properly the first time unless you have like a recovery disk.
Now this box full of parts, would any of those be a recovery disk?
Nope. These all seem to be more of a mechanical nature, like
More like spare
stuff
parts of a spaceship.
potentially. You don't actually know.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have a clue. Anybody probably be booting this thing up, or are we stressing the power systems of this ship? So I want to see what they say if we can find out.
So you will probably, suddenly realize that it is a little weird that this thing even has power at this point, given that it's been crashed for so long. The ship is, definitely a relic, and
Yeah.
so what's keeping the power going?
Yeah, I was more worried about plugging it in and then overloading a circuit and then crashing the whole thing. So yeah, let's not do that just yet.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Can I see from any of my panels then exactly, like, is there an engineering panel where I can look at power distribution and get an idea as to what systems it has and also, where the power's coming from?
You can pull up some information. Apparently, there is a set of batteries on board. There's also a small nuclear pile somewhere in the vessel, very small, and it seems to be good to go, though it's only at 20% power.
Is it at 20% because that's all that's needed, or is it 20% because it's
Yeah,
not
Just that,
done too well?
it's just that old. It's
It's what, sorry?
the uranium in it is just decayed to such a point that that's basically as much power as it can give at this point.
Ah, old fucking uranium shit.
Yeah,
God damn.
it's a little fusion reactor.
Fusion. My god, it's fusing uranium. That's impressive.
No, fission.
Oh, fission. Sorry. I was about to
No,
say, fusing uranium would probably take more energy than it produces. It's below the threshold that it sits around carbon. But hey, never mind. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna accept that the reactor's been sat dormant, probably in zero tau or something to slow the decay. I'm cool with this. Although I'm gonna be happy to land it, sooner rather than later. Do some maintenance and refueling on it.
So I will say probably about this point you start seeing something interesting coming up, ahead, and it's indicating that Hera's indicating that this is approximately the area where she detected the fuel. Got a description if you like.
Yes, please.
Yes,
you are
please.
If you're going to
What?
begin your descent.
You're the GM. You fucking give us a description whether we like it or not. You hold us down screaming as you give us the description.
I need to have something for you to talk about while I take a drink real quick.
Okay, cool.
There we go. As the ship begins its descent, out the front view screen is visible a large complex of alien buildings. In the middle is a massive structure, hundreds of meters tall and capped with an array of strange technology. One of these pieces of technology very much appears to echo the design of the largest of particle beam projectors on the largest of space vessels that make up the capital fleets of several of the powerful nations. And it has a bit of a glow to it as well. Surrounding the main large building, it appears to be a mass of something on the ground. As the ship gets close to the ground, a keen eye can make out swarms of alien robots, and they appear to be moving about an extensive field of assorted materials of an industrial nature. What more, there appears to be a few of these piles of rubble and materials actually piled together, almost like a structure. Outside the field of robots are several small towers. None of them are actually very small, but they are tiny compared to the central building. One of the nearest to the main structure has what appears to be a small blue tent on the side, an oxygen tent of a very human design.
Interesting. So it suggests that there's a human out there and not one of these weird aliens, and that they're getting the robots to build something huge. That would be my theory. Anybody else got any obvious flaws with that theory? It's not a particularly complex
isn't
theory,
this
but...
Isn't this also the complex where the laser is coming from? Because that was where the robots were, wasn't it?
That's what the clones back at Kusami base mentioned, that there was about the same time the robots started showing up, a particle beam at this facility seemed to be activating.
Yeah. So I would think that maybe whether this person or people are that's in this facility, the beam will have something to do with that as well.
Well, first question: is there anywhere safe to land?
Oh, certainly. There is the terrain here is actually fairly flat, fairly clear, other than the buildings and the horde of robots over there. You can sit down in a number of areas nearby. In fact, there almost appears like there's parking lots.
Cool. If there's no robots around in those areas,
Hey, wifey, how's it going?
Out of sight, then I guess we can land.
All right, give me a vehicle control
we
roll.
land near the oxygen tent, right?
Sorry.
All right.
We would want to land near that oxygen tent, right?
I thought we were just landing near all of it because all of it was in the same area. I thought the robots that were building the giant thing were right near the oxygen tent anyway.
So there's the central building. There's sort of a halo of robots around that, and then outside of that are the smaller buildings, including the one at the oxygen tent.
How far away from the giant building and all the robots and the oxygen tent?
Well, oops, that's not what I want to do. I can go to the next map here.
Oh boy.
So this is approximately about a kilometer out. Yeah, the building with the oxygen tent, which is this one, is about a little bit more than a kilometer from the main building.
So basically, yeah, we can't. I thought that the tent and the building were pretty much in the same place, but yeah, that's divided by robots. Yeah, I think we should need to have a look at the oxygen tent. You're right, guys.
So, sort of make a
I thought
attempt to
set
land.
it down. Yeah, I'll set it down. If it's somewhere out of line of sight of the tent, then that would be better. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, certainly within rushing distance of the tent.
Yeah,
Excellent. Good day, wifey.
The tent is a
It's
little
doing
on the
good here.
side,
We're
so
just landing the
it's
spacecraft to do some
going to
stuff.
be difficult to be out of line of sight of the tent and the robots at the same time. But the robots, if they've noticed you, don't seem to be reacting at this point. So,
Okay, okay. I'll set it down.
all right, give me a vehicle control roll if you got one.
Well, I have spaceship handling, so I'll do that.
That counts.
I would. Bloody hope so.
The vehicle is a little on disrepair.
Ooh, yeah, just made that.
All right, because it is in disrepair, it is going to be a very rough landing. But you're not sure if there's going to be, if that caused more damage to the ship or not.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll try. Is the landing gear operating, or is that just kaput?
You push the button to deploy it. There's some mechanical sounds.
Oh, well, everyone buckle in. We're on an express elevator to hell, going down.
So there is some grinding sounds, and the vehicle does come to a stop, a little shorter than you would have expected. So perhaps the landing gear was not in good shape.
I'm gonna pat one of the consoles and turn around and say, "Sorry, Hera. You're not in good shape, girl."
Ouch.
Fair enough.
Melihandra's gonna stand up and say, "I hope you did not destroy this vehicle."
I'm gonna turn around, look a little bit sheepish, and shrug.
And
Anything on the damage report systems? Because if Hera can go ouch, I'm assuming that she can detect damage. So, anything new on the flashy blinky lights?
It's a little hard to figure out what's new exactly, but there is a few things that seem to be indicating stress fractures.
Great. Even if we could seal the hull on this ship to make it space-worthy, I don't think that it could handle the pressure differential.
Well, it's pretty low pressure already here, so it might be more of a going, as opposed to like going from one Earth atmosphere to zero, like going from half to zero.
Fair enough.
But I mean, if you're in space, it would still matter anyway. Just leave it vented when you're flying back.
Okay, okay.
So anyway, Melihandra goes to the exit. She opens it up and hops on out.
Cool. I'm gonna tell Hera that we're gonna see if we can find us some more fuel. Is there a frequency we can contact her on? Can we hook up communications in case some robots discover her and we need to come back and stop them disassembling her?
Yeah, she offers you a communication protocol, so it's an
Cool.
older code, but it works.
Excellent.
Cool. We'll connect that in, and yeah, gonna head out.
All right. So you heading to the oxygen tank
Yep.
Follow that robot.
or tent?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and be a little bit, not like stomp, 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 stomp. Hey, guy! That would be not a good way of doing this.
We did just land a spaceship not far from it. I'm gonna hear that coming in.
And a giant murder bot just jumped out.
Yeah. Yeah. You all make very good points. Fuck stealth. Let's just yeah. Let's head in. See what's going on.
I mean, we landed near the tent. If we landed far away and walked us in, that'd have been a different matter.
So let's. If you're trying to be cautious, let's go ahead and roll me some stealth rolls if you got them.
I've given up on the concept. I think my companions have made some very sensible points. That I've just crash landed a ship next to a tent. Sneaking out's probably a bit redundant right now.
Fair enough. So you cautiously move up to the little oxygen tank, tent. Sorry, I keep saying tank. It is very much attached to the exterior of the building, so it's actually like connected and sealed in, and it has a little airlock thing at the front of it that one person can go through at a time. So it's fairly efficient sort of design. It's similar to your own Melix, your own little shelter there.
Survival module thing, yeah.
Yeah. So everybody can easily fit inside of it, but it's not going to be too roomy for everyone. So.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get my sonic stun pistol out in case I need it. I'm gonna have my heavy laser ready in case things go even worse, and then yeah, I'm gonna head on in.
All right. So who goes first?
It's one person at a time. Should we knock?
Is it just one person at a time?
There's room for one person to go through the airlock system at a time.
Yeah.
If there's any intercom type thing, then sure, I guess. Other than that,
I'm going to say there is not.
okay, I'm just gonna go in first.
I'll follow him.
All right, so Alex Carter goes into the tent first, and there's nobody inside. There is a table, very easily transport card table sort of situation. That does have some computer equipment on it, as well as what appears to be a research notebook. There is a small collapsible chair and a couple bedrolls at the corner.
Okay, before anybody starts crowding into this empty tent, right? Before everyone starts doing that and completely fucking everything up, I am going to release my little forensic bots and see if I can pick up any evidence of what or who has been in here.
All right, there is one more bit of description. There is another door out of this tent here that appears to be leading into the building.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
We will have a look at that in a moment. But yeah, let me get my forensic bots before everyone pollutes this whole thing. It's going to be a little bit polluted with me being in here, but at least I'm not kind of breathing the air.
I'm
Go ahead and
going
give
to
me the
call
ball.
Mal in. And I'm going to go through that door.
So I'll do my forensic roll now.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, let him forensic, then Mel can computer, and I'll read the notebook.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. This is
While the two with the
And
guns
Cash,
go
you're
into the
going,
door.
through and Cash, you're going through the second door there.
Correct.
All right. So we'll handle you last, but we'll do everyone else real quick, as reading the notebook will be a little more involved. But first the little robots.
Okay. And I will definitely be sharing some of this info with you, Cash, since you're in law enforcement. You might know a little bit about this sort of stuff. I can't remember. What do I get for those things? Shit. One second, guys. Sorry. Yes, it's +3. Whoa! Even without the bots, that was a damn good roll. Fuck.
Right, even before you're halfway done, going through everything here, other folks are starting to file in. Your robots start reporting that the only indications of human habitation here appear to match the genetic markers present in some of the. Did they ever actually properly scan that area? Scan them. Sorry.
Are you saying, have I ever genetically scanned the clones, is what you're about to ask, yeah?
Yes.
No.
I don't think you technically had.
No, I haven't. I feel that my player, me, kind of has the answer, even though Alex doesn't. So basically, there's evidence of 2 human DNA sequences.
One male, one female.
Would that give me an idea, though, with a role like that there are anomalies in the DNA that would suggest that maybe there was cloning involved?
Correct. Actually, there is there's signs of genetic tinkering is what you get.
Okay,
Cloning
cool.
is less of a problematic thing than whatever these clones might be doing to make sure their clones are of a certain sort. Anywho.
And would one suggestedly be a male DNA sequence and the other female, perhaps?
Oh yes, yeah, that one's a pretty easy get.
Yeah. Okay, so even without having their DNA, I'm pretty sure I know. So they okay. And one last thing that I may or may not have on this. How long has it been since anyone's been in this tent?
It looks like 3 weeks.
So it does kind of coincide with their own things, because they did say that they were investigating all this shit before it all went south.
So Mal, you go sitting down at the computer. It will boot up very quickly. It appears to be a research notes sort of taking sort of thing. What's open is in the main window is an inventory of sorts of appears to be a various rundown of artifacts they've collected.
Okay. Anything that jumps out at me as interesting?
Give me a roll. Not sure on what skill it'll be yet.
Versus?
I guess go intelligence.
That would be a pass just.
All right. You will spot that they have a couple interesting things. A couple of them seem to be robotic parts. One of the items appears to be a communication device. That they apparently you're not seeing any of this stuff in the tent here. This is just sort of
It's not sure what they found in there inside
or inspected. Yeah, something that those are sort of like the most, I guess, telling of the interesting things here. Otherwise, just sort of like just random knickknacks, whatever. It's like piece of pipe and corroded, this, that, the other thing. And now, Simon, you're grabbing that notebook.
Yes.
As Cash starts to cycle the inner airlock, and you paging through it, you'll notice that it's sort of a daily rundown sort of thing, which is a little quaint, because even this far future period that someone actually be using an actual physical notebook is a little strange, but does kind of give you a good vibe, perhaps.
Yeah, it's no more computers.
But yeah, it seems to be field notes like day, this date, began this notebook. If you want to look at previous ones, check out this notebook. What number 487 or something like that. And it seems to be a general log of whoever the author was going about their various business and investigating and exploring various ruins on this planet. The later entries, which might be of more interest, have them arriving at this location and investigating this outbuilding as a prep for investigating the central building. They seem to be, determining fairly quickly that this was a sort of utility and / maintenance building for some sort of underground complex that may be attached to the central building.
Tunnels. I thought so.
What's more, this appears to be, not sort of like a cooling tower, but a sort of a necessary piece of a larger system of some sort. The piping and various materials inside seem to suggest that something was needing to be sort of moved and processed in this structure here. So could be something related to like a fusion reactor. It could be something related to waste processing. You're not entirely sure. And neither were they. They were still sort of investigating things when the log ends.
All right. So the most recent entry is just investigating thingamabob?
Pretty much, yeah. So this is sort of a, it's like they don't have any conclusions yet, but this is sort of their initial impressions of this location.
When was the most recent entry?
About 3 weeks ago.
Does the entry say?
Coincides with-
Does the entry say something like, "Today we're going to go press the big red button in room number 3"?
They don't say anything like that, no.
It's not like a Bethesda thing where it's like, I hear stomping noises outside.
Nothing quite so obvious. But while you're sort of thumbing through that, I'm going to go ahead and move to the big map, a new map already.
No. Does that mean robots have heard us?
So you're in the tent. Cash is moving through, and Cash, this is what you see.
Ooh.
Yes.
There's some cool industrial corridors.
Yes. Thank you, Malik, for letting me have some access to that.
That's okay. That'd be interesting to see what you've constructed out of this, because it's like a modular. I think this is the modular stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I like this.
So, Cash, this is what you're seeing as everyone sort of gets to work investigating things in the tent area. And I'll give you a few minutes of free reign to do whatever you like. Also, I would also like to point out that have you looked at that message that the intro had yet?
I assume that I did that on the ship and that I shared it with everyone.
Okay, so in that case, if you wanted to keep if you hadn't and wanted to keep it secret, this might be a good opportunity to have a viewing. But since that's already been taken care of,
would be
feel free.
it would be interesting to see how Alex reacted to hearing that message on the ship.
Probably annoyed. Probably annoyed that these fucking pen pushers, as per usual, from behind their safe desks on the core systems, are like, oh no, another murder. Well, file that with the others. Right, get me some donuts. Kind of attitude. While here I am actually trying to fucking stop this shit, and I'm like so close, and you probably get the impression it's more of a pride thing as much as it is to stop the murders, but a 50-50 split, I guess.
Right. So I did share that with everyone. As for this this corridor, I'm going to silently move to one of these corners and peek around it.
All right, go ahead and move yourself there. All right. Go ahead and reveal some more stuffs. I really need to get like the full paid version of this, don't I?
I'm actually looking the other way. Sorry. That's going to give me the best cover for the best line of sight.
So this is sort of what you can see at this moment.
You know how Say OK's icon has got like a furry critter on it? As you revealed the map, my eyes looked down and immediately saw an icon with a weird monster face on it. And I'm like, oh no, it's just... it was literally positioned at the end of the corridor, and I'm like,
It's Bigfoot.
Ah.
So anyway, sorry, yes, carry on.
All right. So if I look right and that corridor seems clear, I'm going to look to the left the other way, and that one's clear as well.
Seems to be yes.
Can I hear anything?
Give me a perception roll.
A 9 out of 13.
All right. You don't hear much coming from further into the building, but you do hear something kind of coming from the tent, other than your companions, getting about their business. Appears to be, the sound of flowing air.
All right. Am I in radio contact with them?
Oh yeah. Plus, you probably just yell loud enough if you wish to speak to them directly as well.
Yeah, I'll use the radio.
Okay.
This place seems fairly clear, although it's very big. Is there anything happening in there?
Alejandro will be the one who answers. Everything seems A-okay. They are investigating the things. I am bored. And you hear her through the radio as much as you do right from the other side of the wall.
All right. I'm going to take a left in here. I'll keep y'all updated.
I'm good to move into the hall if, we think we saw all the things, and I can bring the book with.
Feel free to come in, and Simon, as you page through the book, I will occasionally maybe give you sort of some insights and sort of the character and personality of the author, if you so wish.
All right, sounds good.
I think that'd be
Did one of you bring a 10-foot pole?
I'll go ahead and move them in.
I'm gonna, at this point, since we don't have any evidence of humans, I'm gonna get my heavy laser pistol out and just keep it ready, pointed south.
So I guess, Cash, I would say that in your perception you roll, that you probably also notice that there's not much in the way of dust on the floor here, so it's unlikely that there'd be much sign of footprints.
All right.
It's almost like something had come through and cleaned at some point, but it's not entirely clear.
Roger that. To the rest of the team, I say we move forward. I'll take point. Someone should keep an eye on our rear.
I shall look at our rear.
Yeah, someone who's not Melisandre. Sorry.
Wow.
Such an insult.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
The suspected serial killer will do it.
So we're just in the building. We didn't like go down below ground or nothing.
Well, there is a couple steps down, but not super deep at all.
All right, so just going to move forward then.
All right, go ahead and start moving, and I'll move folks, NPCs. They'll sort of insert themselves in here.
All right, I'll stay along the right side of the wall. Look left. Then, if that's clear, look right.
Bam, bam. Seem to be alcoves. I will say that as you sort of inspect them, they seem to be fairly primed for something to be maybe like a maintenance bay or something like hooked into there.
All right, I'll ask Mal if he recognizes those connections.
Yeah, I'll
Take a look at them.
you
And
have a look at them, and you suspect these might be like perfect for the robots to be sort of hooked into.
like charging spots.
Yeah.
Or maintenance or something along those lines. Okay. Yeah, they look like there might be the robot charging base, so be able to look at them. Might be some in the future further up with charging up.
It's like a Snorg alcove. Okay. Can you access? Is there a central computer you can access through these things?
Can check.
There is a data port. It seems to be, basically the inversion of what you plug in. So basically, it's like a plug out. But you're a clever enough fellow. You can figure this out.
So I can jack into
Computer,
the.
roll.
And I can jack myself in and see how we can get 8 versus what was that? The operational hacking.
We'll go for operations.
Okay, it's versus a 12.
just a-
so that's good.
You will get a very basic sort of protocol, and not much else. Honestly, it's sort of it gives you a brief script that you can pretty quickly identify as in, by plugging into this, you're entering maintenance mode, stand by, perform diagnostics, and that's about it. It's not like a network sort of component here.
Can I take a copy of that script because I feel that it'd be useful to jack that into a hostile AI at some point?
Yeah, feel free.
Because in the future, if one of those robots catches off guard, I want to just jack in and send the same signal to that, and hopefully put it into a maintenance mode rather than. It's a one-time use sort of thing because you can't do it against more than one at a time, but it could be useful as an emergency.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. So, what now?
I'll keep moving forward. Stay along the right. Check left, then right.
Okay, so check left, then right, left, right. Same thing. More maintenance space.
How about we say we just keep moving around until we hit something that's not boring corridor?
I'll again for this one, I'll stay along the left wall, peek right.
All right. So don't worry, things are going to be a little slow at the beginning here, but things will get a little more interesting before too long, hopefully. So.
All right, now I'll keep moving forward.
All right. Guessing you're looking around.
Is this another T-junction?
Of sorts. Are you gonna look left, then right?
I'm going to stay along the right wall and look left, then right, yeah.
All right.
Right, there's nothing on the left.
Left. Then right. By the way, before I reveal this, what kind of lights do you got? Because this place is pretty dark at this point.
I have a pen light. It's got a 5-yard beam to fix 2 A batteries that last 24 hours.
A batteries?
Yeah, A batteries. 2 A batteries. Well, A cells, not battery. Well, they technically are batteries, but yeah, A cells.
I've got a flashlight, 10-yard beam.
Cash, what do you got? You're up front.
Oh, I have PESA goggles, so I assume I can just detect passively infrared.
All right. I'll give you a bit of range here. So that's what you sees.
Still
Just seeing
here?
how far my beam goes. Sorry, guys. Just yeah. That's 5. Yeah. Yeah. My pen light's not gonna reach very far, but hey.
So, Cash, I will perhaps draw your attention to something's a little different down there.
Robot feet.
Shit.
Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna say we've got what might be a robot up ahead on the right. I'm gonna see if we can very quietly move to the left.
All right. Go ahead and start moving around there.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on the robot until I reach this corner.
I'll keep an eye on it just in case as well.
As I move back, I'm gonna peek around this corner.
All right. This corridor seems to be a lot less features on it, and it seems to go on for a while. This is about as far as you can sort of make things out clearly.
I'm
By
gonna
the
let
way,
everyone
sort of-
know.
So as you sort of traveling around here, I want to sort of note that the walls and structures and things like that are very much, very industrial feel. Overhead, there's lots of piping, lots of cables and things like that. Some of them seem in disrepair, some of them seem perfectly intact. So there's sort of a lot of stuff going on here, as far as this beyond just sort of what you're seeing on the map.
Yeah,
Mal,
recent
you want to
repairs.
go hack a sleeping robot?
If it's sleeping, better have to get a nosy at it. But I want to move over to sort of here and just peek down this corridor or whatever this thing is in the corner before we go too far down.
All right. You'll see something approximately that.
Excellent. I have to make sure this robot is actually sleeping and it's not going to cause us an issue. So I'm going to sneak down to that one. I'm guessing it's just
I'm
something
gonna poke. Oh yeah, I was about to say I'm gonna poke the NPCs.
About this point, Simon, Eli kind of leans over to you and says, "I'm like really scared. Any advice?"
Stay in the
talk to me?
middle or decide to guard the ship?
I'd be good with guarding the ship. If that's okay.
No. We don't want to leave anybody alone. You never know if a horde of robots might come in and try and disassemble them, try and figure out what you're made of.
I'd rather that they disassemble a person while warning us about an attack on our only way out of here.
I'd also rather not have someone who I think is a serial killer on their own. I'm not saying that out loud in character.
Would you
I'm just
rather have
saying.
a person who you think is a serial killer in the middle of a crowd of people?
Yes, I would. Because
It
every
just seems that serial killers have pretty low body counts against starships.
Yeah.
You kind of need other people around to serial kill.
I mean, sure, if we get abandoned here because his like weird fucking serial killer alternative personality decides to fly off, then fine. I mean, that's down on you guys.
I mean, we'll die with the satisfaction that he probably crashed when he tried to land.
But what about the case? I want to solve the case, not for them to all dry up. The murder's dried up once. I don't want that to happen again.
I would also like to point out that the ship, the crashed ship, has very limited fuel, so it would not be able to make orbit, and operational range is probably in the tens of kilometers. So, assuming someone would take it and land it successfully, it would be sort of still within walking distance technically.
Fine, okay, you can bugger off back to the ship.
All right. Any objections?
Negative.
Nope.
All right. He'll cautiously kind of sneak back to the ship, and we'll go hide there for a while.
When he's like en route, radio Hera and tell her not to take off until we get back.
Understood. I would not want to be leaving anyone behind.
Thank you,
Cool.
Hera.
Alejandra seems much less scared than Eli is.
Probably seems more bored.
So Simon's here, exploring the ancient ruins of a long dead civilization, and then it's very fascinating to you, potentially. And then Alejandro's right next to you, like, okay. All right. So Peter, you're sneaking up on that robot down
Yeah,
there, right?
I want to see what's in this little corridor thing here first. Make sure I don't walk past anything that's going to get me. I'm assuming it's a little nook, but I don't want to take a risk of it. Good.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then-
gonna advance a bit more now. I think we're probably safe.
Yeah,
from
now we're at the
things
robot
sneaking up
itself.
behind
I just
us.
want to sort of peek, make sure it's not actually active. It is just like on a charge. It's not going to, run out of there. And
So, inspecting the first alcove, I will say that the floor of this one seems different. The first one there definitely seems more of like a repair station. So it's less sort of you plug in and recharge and double check your systems. But things could like the bottom could open up and maybe something come up to sort of support the robot as various things start poking at it to like change out parts.
all right, so the other ones were charging bay. This is more like a repair bay.
Yeah. For when you look at the robot specifically, it seems to be completely inactive.
Excellent.
In fact, it seems only slightly partially lodged in the maintenance bay part. Semi correctly. It's not where it needs to be, obviously.
So it's not going to be waking up anytime soon. It's got bits missing, and
Yeah, there's a few parts of it that are obviously in obvious disrepair, but it seems to be not likely to come to life to try to murder you.
okay. I just want the other guys know this robot down here is. It looks like it's safe at the moment. It won't be any interest to us on the
All right.
murdering front.
All right. I'm going to keep a lookout over here if you guys want to check the rest of this area. It probably loops around to where we started.
Yeah, I might check the rest of this corridor going down because it just looks like it'll just vent back to where we came from. But I'm already halfway down. I might continue.
All right, start moving down south then.
One look at a
Start
time.
revealing stuff.
You save yourself time, just I'm not going to reveal all of them. At this point, I do have a flashlight which gives me a 15-yard view, just for your. Unless somebody else got something better that's with me.
So it does appear that it probably loops back to that main entry corridor, and
Oh, we have another friend.
Yep. As
And-
you get closer to the second one, it seems in better shape than the first one, but it does seem to be still inactive.
Still missing parts? Still on the ground, so we
I
won't be
think-
dealing with it?
Yeah, it does seem to be missing a few parts, but it's not as badly taken apart as the other one.
Okay. And if we get... I'm guessing we get to there, that will just loop back into our original corridor, because it's a bit obvious. And then below us is... more. Yeah, I guess we're going to have the same thing going up and up and up.
Maybe there's a narrower thing to the side though. You know that? It's a narrower thing.
Get a peek in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's narrower.
Ah.
Yes. The for this tunnel to the right, the overhead stuff does seem to be a bit more intense. The ceiling's lower, and it seems more of a it's sort of like going into the guts of this big machine sort of feel here.
Right, okay.
And Simon, you peeking around the corner?
Yeah, peek around the corner. All right, let's go in the interesting little corridor.
It does open up a bit off this way, so
Okay, I am gonna carefully. How high up is the corridor that I've just moved into?
doo-doo. Give me one.
Do I have
Kinda
to duck
grab
or
the-
anything?
You will be able to stand upright, but it is very, very close to, not letting you. Melandra will have to duck a little bit, but the rest of you guys should be fine.
I am just warning that we are all down the south, and Cash is at the top by himself right now.
So, Cash, what you doing?
I assume they found some sort of promising corridor. They've told me that they're all going to go down it.
Yeah, looks like it. In fact, you can
All to
kind of
do
see
is just-
from their lights that they seem to be moving that general direction.
All right, I'll go down there.
What do my eyes see with my little pen thing? It's only got 5 yards kind of thing.
In fact, that scale on this is incorrect. I should be fixing that. So actually, now that I realize that, you guys can maybe see more. Cash, how much could you see again?
I don't know. I have PESA goggles. That should be pretty good.
Alright.
Infrared stuff.
So we'll probably just keep on a similar range for you. So Alex can see definitely to that next bend.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
I'm
check
gonna-
these alcoves as I pass.
So. Okay.
All right, I'll get down there.
So yeah.
As Cash is catching up, I'm gonna, hand gesture for people to follow, and I'm gonna go to there and have a little look around with my 15-foot penned torch. You know what? I'm gonna ask if I can just grab the flashlight that's got a bit better spread since I'm in front now.
Yeah, you borrow my flashlight if you wish. It's got 15 yard on it.
Yeah, I've only got 5 yard on this pen light. Here you go. I'm normally used to looking at clues in dark rooms, not fucking ancient corridors in dead civilizations. But hey, okay, I'm gonna carry on with my new super duper
Is there nothing above us or on left hand side?
45-foot range now.
Now,
Okay.
you are definitely getting. This is sort of twisting deeper and deeper into this large mechanism of industrial who knows what's.
This will get chased
Yeah,
out by a
ceiling-
giant rumba.
The ceiling seems even tighter here, but you're still able to walk upright easily enough. Poor Melisandre is bending down. She seems more annoyed.
She's always in a perpetual state of being annoyed.
So around the next corridor, that was 15 meters, right?
15 yard.
Well, not meters. 15 yards, which is basically 45 foot.
I'm just sort of equating meters to yards most of the time here. So at the very edge of your there, you see a bit of debris. Apparently, is partially blocking that. There is a intersection, here, and apparently more wide space here. But you can also make out a bit of debris on the upper portion. As you get here, you can definitely see the debris. And
Oh,
this
wow.
seems to be blocking off that way north entirely. Down south, you can also see another robot.
Is it moving?
It does not appear to be moving. It's also a different model than what you've seen so far. This one seems a little bit more militarized, you could say.
Oh shit.
So now we all fall back
I'm
rapidly.
gonna- Yeah, I'm gonna like do the whole the fist in the air gesture for everyone to stop and turn around and see Mal there, and gonna very very quietly over the comms, because I'm in a suit. Mention that there looks like there's some kind of military robot up ahead, and it's not moving at all. Doesn't look powered up or anything.
No, it seems completely inactive at the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna train my heavy pistol at it, and I'm gonna just walk out quietly and just keep an eye on it.
All right, nothing seems to happen.
Wow, I failed badly on that.
Sleep mode, continue.
Yeah. I just don't like that thing there. I just don't like it.
Peter walks right over it, and nothing happens.
Well,
So could Mel hack the robot and network it into Hera and let her control a militarized robot?
that would be awesome. Do it. I don't care. I don't care how bad of an idea this is. Just do it. It'd be hilarious.
I want laser pistols aimed on this thing.
Okay, I will happily be one of those heavy laser pistol
Because
people.
in the event this fails, I want to make sure it dies fast. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get Hera to control this one. As a request from the team.
Disable it. At the very least, to take it down and make sure that it's not going to kill
Yeah.
us.
I mean, I did purposely copy a maintenance program, but hopefully it'll work on the military ones as well. So let's just start connect up to it first.
Oh. Oh, good. That was Izzy's roll.
Another really bad
Well-
roll. Thank you, Izzy.
Yeah, the thing is,
Exact
everyone's
same
now
roll, actually.
everyone's crowding this military robot that's going, should I wake up or not? And luckily not.
Yeah. Probably
Someone's
just the
pointing a
wind.
gun at my bits. I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.
This is an acceptable situation.
So I'm just gonna spend time aiming really, really carefully at its. Like, I don't know. Is there a power source? Do we know where the power source is for these things?
This one's a different configuration, so it's not entirely sure, certain where it might be. You might have a good guess, but it's sort of still up in the air.
Okay. Well, sensor systems maybe, but whatever. Something vital looking.
It's a military one. Aim
Something
at its
right.
guns. Melt them.
Same.
Okay, let's go.
So, you're all pointing your guns at it, all readied up.
Yep.
Full
I'm
bonuses.
still watching our 6.
Right. Give me that roll, Mal.
And that was a fail.
All right. You plug in. You attempt to look into its systems, and
Oh dear.
it does not wake up, but you also don't get anywhere.
Excellent.
In fact, you get barely more than the base protocol of, you're plugged into something. Here's the basic hardware handshake, and then nothing.
And then reach into the and go, oh yeah, the adapter. And I'll try it a second time, and because I always try twice if I fail once. And that failed even worse, so let's not try to hack this robot.
All right. Get the exact same situation.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's not hackable.
Good news is it doesn't seem to be coming alive and trying to murder you all.
That is a good news. That is good news.
So, managed to survive the robot that's not moving. What now?
I think it's fair to say we survived 3 robots that are not moving so far.
Okay.
Well, this one seems to actually not be in pieces. So
Yeah, this one's actually capable of moving, but the other was I'm taking them as credit, right?
I think this one's completely harmless. I'm gonna carry on.
Yeah, off we go.
It's alright, the person could bring up the rear will have to deal with it.
Gonna have a little peek down these north and south corridors. I'm gonna assume up is north.
all right. So yeah, good assumption there. So 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you can see pretty much to the end of this. Looks like.
Somebody likes their corridors.
And down to the south, you can see all the way down here.
Oh, there's something really big and nasty down there.
Bugger.
Okay, I'm gonna very, very, very quietly but rapidly just slip across the gap, have a little glance ahead. But either way, I'm not gonna keep, I'm just gonna keep an eye on that as much as possible. But I figure if 2 of us are on the edges, we can both start letting rip with lots of cover, if need be.
So
Okay, well, if it's not moving, then I'm going to quickly have a little look around this corner to the south, because I'm assuming north is blocked.
yep, a lot of debris there once more. And it does seem like it was a beginning of a stairway heading up.
Okay, so that just comes around there.
Oh, that looks like a much better approach.
Mm.
So I will say that this hallway, like this stuff back here that you just gone through, is very low sort of ceiling situation, while the stuff out here is much higher ceilings.
Well,
Uh-huh.
is there any reason why we would want to go that way? That's the question. We can't really see.
Well, there's a very interesting corridor to the north. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And a very
north. Look,
and there's something quite compelling to not go to the south.
I agree. I agree.
If there's anything I know about games, it's totally not going to be guarding somewhere we need to go.
You mean like the only way up or something, or the only way down, or the only way through, or yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's fully explore it anyway. Oh wow, you're just like fucking moving.
Charging ahead.
There's nothing in here.
I'll move our NPCs up. So far, I will have to sort of say that this place seems fairly inactive overall.
Hmm.
So it's very, very tomb-like in a way. Melhandra will actually take a step forward here. Looks over to the
Cool,
side.
yeah.
Keeps going.
Okay.
Her boredom's kind of gotten to the point. She looks over here, looks back to you guys and shrugs.
I think this is nothing
Is there
then.
anything?
So
Yeah.
as you're passing through things, you can see this. It's another sort of blocked off area down there.
Okay.
It's a small step down, but it is seems to be what used to be maybe a room, maybe it went somewhere, but it's definitely blocked off. A bunch of debris from higher levels has fallen through and torn things up. As far as up here goes here, and I forgot to put the thing down, but it ends in a doorway over here. And I will also say that the doorway has on the side of it a panel with a small light on it.
Ooh.
Is there a triangle symbol on the door?
No.
Okay. Does the panel look alien tech? It's all still alien tech.
Oh yeah. This is all still alien tech.
Cool. I'm gonna let someone who knows about hacking to try and open the door, unless it's looks like a simple
That's the
switch.
thing. Does it look like a mechanical lock or an electronic lock? Because I can do electronics, but I don't do mechanics very well.
So, Gep, when you're rolling for something, aren't you?
I was willing to see if I pushed a button.
Yes. Well, do you?
No.
Okay.
Disappointing.
All right. So as you get closer to the door, you will notice that the panel there with the light on it appears to be something with a number of buttons on it. The light on it does not appear to actually be a button. There is also what looks to be a small little speaker port on it too.
Oh.
So it's a combination of lock with a buzzer.
Okay. Well, I know how to do security stuff to a point. Actually, then again, we should just let the hacker try and get it open, really.
Well, try a hack first, and if not, do the other one.
So I will also say that there's no obvious data ports on it. Just like a panel you would see on, say, an elevator or a security panel. They're not going to be having here's where you plug your thing in to do it. So if you're going to be trying to hack it at all, you're going to have to attempt to open it up.
Which I'm hoping my electronic toolkit and my electronic operations surveillance will let me do stuff like that.
All right, go ahead and give me a roll.
If he's doing electronics operation surveillance, can I assist him with that since I have electronics operation surveillance and electronics operation security? Maybe, I don't know.
What would be appropriate here is I'm not super wanting to reveal, but go ahead and give me a roll, both of you.
Okay.
Oh, additional roll or that one?
So-
I just did.
All right.
Electronics operation, well, it doesn't matter which of those ones it is, it's the same number for me.
Well, mine's versus
I
a 12
failed
anyway,
by-
so I'm good.
Failed by a 2. So I have no help whatsoever.
All right. So Peter, you pop the panel open. The buttons appear to be, hooked up to a small controller of some sort, but you can determine pretty quickly that it's more of a controller that is sort of more a pass through as opposed to any sort of logic. And the cables for the panel go further down into the mechanisms of the building, and they don't directly go anywhere to the door directly.
Right, so the computer that's actually controlling the door is on the other side, basically, somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere. But as you are doing this sort of stuff, that's actually a pretty dang good roll for this here. You get a funny sound coming through the speaker as you're sort of having the thing halfway pulled out. It sounds sort of like this.
Cool.
So,
There's fish people behind there.
so there's two possibilities. Either alien language or we broke the speaker. Does my translator program thingy that I got from the clones translate that, or does it just do text-based
It
translations?
just does text.
Damn it, I was hoping.
Simon, do you have any appropriate skills that may be able
Failed
to...
my archaeology by 1.
Ah. Hmm. Well, you get the impression that this is, as far as things you get, from that, is that it does seem like an alien language of some sort, but you have no idea what it's saying.
I'd most likely only be able to read it anyway. With
This
how
is,
archaeology
this is
works.
more, sort of from your expertise. But even if you did know the language, you probably would be able to translate it though.
But I would say from my history of hacking to systems and stuff, I would accept that sound to be something on the lines of violation, back away.
So, are you guys discussing this? Are you sort of more reacting at this point?
I think we're more discussing because we've heard the speaker go off, not the door slam shut or anything else. So,
Yeah, the door is closed, but you're not quite certain. Yeah, it's sort of a two sides coming in from either side sort of thing. No handles or anything like that. So it's definitely controlled somehow.
okay, Alex, want to give it a try with your security, because the hacking is not going to touch this thing. Given there's no actual controller here for it to go through.
You know what? We are.
Okay, so the message has changed then. So is it got an obvious intercom type button?
Oh, there are several buttons. You don't know what they do. They're just color coded.
I'm still not pushing buttons.
You know what I do. What?
Well, they know we're here.
Yeah, so we have to do something. Now I've got the circuit in my hand, but there's not much I can do with it. Is there anything I can? I mean, there's really nothing I can do with the circuit. It's not a logic board, so I would just reassemble the intercom panel. And then we either press buttons or we try and go around.
Oh, great. And are there any symbols on the panel at all?
Nope.
Nope, we think color coded, aren't we?
What are the colors?
There's a green, there's a blue, there's a red, and there's a yellow.
Well, let's hold down the green button and say hello.
Who's going for it?
If he's pressing buttons, I'm
I'll
hiding.
push a button.
Get win, go impulsive, yay! I'm gonna get
Used to resist impulsive.
one question before everything happens. Izzy, I've got a question. What's the average radius of like a grenade or an explosion or something? If I stand back here, is that likely to be out of range of a basic explosive? Just curious, you know.
First off, do you have such a thing?
No.
Our confidence is reassuring.
I'll have my pistol ready, but I might switch to my my sonic stun pistol now.
So is Simon pushing the button?
Yes.
Do it.
So the green button, correct?
Yep.
All right, you push the green button, and then what do?
I hold it down and say hello.
Hello.
Oh wow, okay.
I'll hold it down again and say testing.
Why are you testing?
Do you speak English?
I have collected database for such.
I think you got an AI.
Who are you?
Should we be honest or pretend to be a maintenance team?
I think
Alex
it'll
is
probably.
just gonna shrug.
Well, I think it'll fall. I don't think it'll fall for a human maintenance team to do an alien facility.
Good point.
You never know.
But feel free to try.
I'm not good at lying, so
If it knows English, then it might know of something outside of the people who built it. We can just say we're here for fuel.
Yeah, it's not a lie technically.
I am Simon Ignatius Xander III, and I have come to explore this facility for scientific interest.
Interesting. I will consider your request for access. Consideration complete. Who is a Simon? Alexander Xavier. Yeah, he actually does get your name wrong.
Do you know what an archaeologist is?
I have encountered such.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
That'd be the clones.
If it hasn't already told the robots about us, we could just tell them that we need the fuel, or else the robots will find us.
It's probably on the side of the robot, so that's the problem.
Oops.
It's pretty good self-control. Color one, roll one.
No, I'm used. I failed it by 1. I was gonna try to use my high society voice to be more convincing.
So you can still try. It's just not going to be very effective. This strange whatever it is probably not going to be too receptive to the wiles of such, unlike Hera. But what are you talking to it about?
For the good of scientific interest, I would request access through this door.
Why do you seek access to maintenance elevator specifically?
If we could learn how cultures maintenance themselves.
Maintenance. Interesting you should say that. You are in maintenance control processing number 1. If that is the information you need, then you now have it.
Computer people, any suggestions?
The computer people tend to hack directly. They tend not to ask questions too much of the computers.
So I will point out that the actual physical hardware for whatever this possibly AI is obviously not here. It's communicating very remotely, and all you'd be able to do here is basically voice communication. So it's unlikely the direct computer hacking would be much use here.
Yeah, the AI
So
is AIs like they're usually in the central towers with remote control.
So there are a number of sort of lines of conversation you can take this down, and it seems hesitant to be of much use right now, but depending on what you say, that could change.
Oh, with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am controller system. My
ask if-
exact identification name is. Ow.
Well, yeah, names wouldn't translate, so yeah.
Ask it if it's working correctly. If not, it probably wants to repair itself.
Now, are you working within full system parameters?
No, I am not. Why do you ask?
You might be able to help.
Do you require maintenance? We have a computer expert with us.
I require extensive maintenance. I am in severe disrepair. Your expert is unlikely to be of much service. You are not of my creators.
Well, something's better than nothing.
Ask it to calculate the odds that it will function better with no assistance versus suboptimal assistance.
Oh, good one.
Transfer that message over.
Well, what is the likelihood your creators will come to repair you versus you can get any assistance from us?
The creators are all dead. They are unlikely to resurrect themselves to assist me,
I
and
don't like the
therefore
emphasis.
my mission must continue with my own resources.
I really don't like the way it emphasized themselves.
Ask it
I
what
think
its mission is.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that.
What is your mission?
My mission is primary to protect this planet from solar eruptions. Secondary missions are the preservation of all life on Kosambi planet. That is the identificator that you are using, correct?
Yep.
I mean, we've got the same goal then, right?
Are you the one controlling the maintenance bots?
Indirectly, they have limited capabilities to communicate with me directly. I have had to make use of intermediary systems to contact their operator system in order to activate them and get them organized. It is inefficient.
We are in contact with a team of scientists on the surface who also want to prevent solar eruptions. Perhaps we could
I
bring them
know
and they
those
could help.
scientists.
Uh-oh.
Didn't sound
That
good.
sounded. There was emphasis there.
There was definitely emphasis there.
And do you think they can't help you?
Their interests and mine do not fully align. I believe their intentions are complicated and less unified than they would like to think.
Well, we should have asked the clones more questions.
Dun dun dun.
All
Hey,
right.
you got someone who doesn't necessarily like them here to talk to, so maybe you get the full dirt on them.
Yeah, I assume I'm still talking through Geplin, right?
Yeah. Unless someone else wants to
It
search
It would
that
probably
stuff up.
complicate things if we started giving different voices to the machine. So we've got a trust relationship built up, well, to some degree.
Yeah. What are your perceptions of the scientists' goals?
They seek to extract information for personal gain. That gain either for their collective or from some sort of extraplanetary authorities. I do not know their full motivations. Some of their individuals have variants on that. Some of them seek out more for their individual as opposed to their collective.
Is the benefit of specific individuals beyond parameters that you understand, is stopping that more important than stopping the solar flares?
Stopping the solar flares is maximum importance. All other priorities are irrelevant if they do not help with that need. The problem comes in with others who may interfere and attempt to disrupt my work.
We certainly have very few higher priorities than stopping the solar flares and preserving life on the surface. We would like to help you.
Others have offered to assist me before. They have sometimes been of use, sometimes they have not. But if you believe you can be of assistance, I have an interest in assistance. The robots that you are familiar with are forbidden from entering certain areas, and there are items and things that may be of some use for you to do that they cannot.
I think we can help out.
We would be willing to assist if you can instruct us on where to go.
You will need to locate Central Core Area 489 and use elevator lift to transport yourself to primary beam systems. At which point I can communicate yourselves to more information of what to do.
Cool. Out of character, did they shoot down a ship?
The robots? No.
Now, all the robots they've done have harassed the scientists. As far as I'm aware, that's all they've pretty much done. And
now
I
if
think
you're
a couple of...
Now, if you're talking about the intro section of video I shared at one point, I'm pretty sure there was something about a ship that was shot down by something. I can share that with the players after the session today, if they're so like. Anywho,
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch all that.
In short, there's no evidence to you guys that any spaceships have been shot down by something on the planet. You do know that there was a crashed spaceship that you guys have been involved in here that seemed to be a mothership with the smaller one that you flew in attached to it. But other than that, that's all you sort of have as far as information goes at this point.
We should probably ask about that ship. How long ago did that happen?
About 800 years.
Oh, well, we don't care about that then. All right. let's go then.
We can assist if you can open the facility, and if you could communicate to the robot controller that we are not hostile, that'd be great.
And a map would be really useful.
The robots have limited communications with my systems. I would not be able to override their primary prerogatives. I can only instruct them on important things to be constructing and maintaining in my periphery zones.
What about the military ones?
Can we fix that first?
That would require access to my primary system, and I am not comfortable with you doing so yet.
So that basically what you're saying is this AI is more comfortable with us incidentally shooting some of these robots than it is for us to get into its core system. To be fair, it's
Makes
repair
sense.
robots. I guess that if it's happy just repairing the collateral damage, then
My only problem is the current military ones are around.
yeah, they look a bit
Because if they can be classed, we can class as friendly to them, then we can move around much freely and help you out.
Doesn't seem like it has much direct robot control, though.
It has some level of control, but the question is, does it have any control of the military ones? Because
I think it's more to do.
Yeah.
I think it's more to do with the maintenance. It's like there must be a robot control system somewhere, but they kind of like they probably just pick up jobs that are in the job queue. It probably could just manage the job queue, but its picking up of those jobs
Yeah.
and execution of those jobs is probably controlled by something else. Maybe I don't know. And the military ones, I bet they're a separate system entirely.
There will be. There'll be a friend of four system we have to try and find somewhere, I bet. or an off system.
So the question is, guys, why do we care?
Well, we don't get shot.
Because money.
No, what I'm saying is that okay, at the moment, I'm just curious as to what our end goal is. Okay, fair enough. There's a little exclamation mark hovering above this door, and we've clicked the triangle or whatever, and we've clicked accept mission. Fine, okay, but our original mission is to find. I'm guessing at this point to find a way of solving the conflict here. Because Kasambi clones basically were like, oh shit, there's weird shit going down. Help! And so we got sent to help them, and they're like, yeah, all these robots are evil, and they're trying to kill us, and we've come over here. And actually, so you know what? The robots are just trying to maintain this facility, from the sounds of it, and that facility is stopping solar flares, because that's what the laser thing is. It's stopping solar flares, unless I've missed something.
That's what the AI seems to be implying.
Yeah.
The clones were less certain about that.
Didn't we sort of see that the clones believed that the beam or something about it affected the planet itself at some point in the past?
The clones seem to be, thinking that the beam may have actually incited the solar flares instead of stopping them.
Well, if we can get proof that it's stopping solar flares, we can probably broker a
Deal.
sort of a cordon between the clones and the AI, saying, right, okay, AI, you don't leave. If you try and not issue jobs to robots outside this area, these dudes will stay out of your area. You can carry on with your job of preventing solar flares. They can carry on with their job of exploring everything. Maybe. I don't know.
And the other way, if we prove that the beam actually caused the flares or made it worse in some way, then the AI might stop doing it, because its primary objective is not to have them anyway.
That is also true.
As far as I remember, we got sent out here by Khan to say, go help the clones do a thing, and then we talked to the clones for 5 minutes and got distracted by a shiny spaceship.
Well, no, the shiny spaceship was Melandra because of the murder, and we chased after her thinking she might be responsible, and she might still be responsible, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but I don't. My point is, I don't think we ever asked the clones what they were trying to do.
Stop the robots, because the robots were fucking up their colony.
The clones were concerned by the robots and the particle beam. So, having someone who was, more, capable as far as, troubleshooting unusual stuff is why you guys were brought in to help out. Plus, they don't much care to be murdered anymore by the robots. So,
So from
Well,
the
if
sounds,
we can repair the particle beam, the robots don't need to gather materials anymore then.
or at the very least, we can prove ourselves to the AI that we're okay. Gain a bit of trust with them. Point out to the clones the particle beam's a good thing, so leave it alone. And also the robots, just don't fuck with them. Just you stick to your area, they stick to that area, and actually then we solve everything. We then fly away with the ship that we stole. Acquired, salvaged. There we go. For Melandra, for Khan, and then we've completed every mission, except finding the serial killer. But we might do that anyway because I think it's Ethan. But anyway,
I still think it's Tex.
Occam's razor says we just blow up the ship on our way out and we'll get the serial killer.
unless it's Simon, he's a bit of an eccentric one.
So we don't know if we can trust the clones. We don't know specifically if the laser stops solar flares, and we may have to give the robots additional resources for them to complete their pylons. Those seem to be our 3 sticking points.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're flying blind here. Don't get me wrong. I know what we need to do. We need to, stop the robots killing clones. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. You're right.
Well, let's go to the whatever Central Core 4 elevator and figure out what this beam thingy does.
Yeah, I mean, the worst case scenario, the AI's like, now I have you in my clutches. Now I will kill you and continue creating solar flares with the beam. Ha! And then we'll know we have to destroy it.
That would make things a lot simpler, honestly.
It would make things a lot fucking simpler because then we could destroy the AI, destroy the power source keeping the robots going, and then fucking return heroes. But no, it's never that fucking simple, is it?
So,
Still, I like the plot developments. Just saying, I do like them.
you got a lot of sort of threads kind of all present here. Question is,
Yeah.
how are you going to tie them all up sufficiently?
I think we're just gonna have to deal with this AI says for now.
For now, we have to deal with the AI.
See what job it wants. Yeah.
Alright, 3 things. Can we get a map? Can you open the facility? Do these other buttons do anything important?
Yeah, it seems to be thinking for a moment. It says, I will provide you information on facility and directions to get to where you need to be. In fact, I will seek to provide means for which to avoid further encounters with the robots you seem to not appreciate. The other buttons, one of them contacts me, again, through a different system in case the first one is down. The other 2 buttons call the elevator, and the other one opens the door.
For future reference, which one's which?
I do not know colors for your language yet.
How
We should just
many...
press the buttons.
They're
None
just
of those
top-
buttons.
None
None
of them
of
are
those
dangerous.
buttons do bad things. Anytime anything dangerous will happen is if we press the button that opens the door and the lift hasn't arrived and we step into the fucking shaft and fall to our doom. That's about as dangerous
Let's
as this
just
can
call
get.
the top button 1 and the bottom button 4 or whatever, and then
Then we set press them and see what happens.
numbers.
Yeah, I'm sure we can figure out a system with this AI to be able to determine what the hell's going on.
Alright, so you're going to push one of the random buttons?
Yes.
Alright. Let's say you push the orange one, and it goes, that is still me.
So was it yellow?
Hello again.
The green and yellow are called AI.
We call
Green
that
there.
color orange BT dubs.
If you press the red one, the doors shake but fail to open. The blue one seems to actually activate something, and you hear what kind of sounds like an elevator moving behind the door.
Oh, hit the red one again.
All right, when your car arrives, you can hit the red button, and the doors open, revealing the interior of an elevator. It looks like a small version of one of the rooms.
Gosh.
If we go in the elevator, is it going to get us closer to where we need to be, or is this the wrong elevator?
You're asking the AI?
Yes.
It will take you to a level that will be able to provide you some of the information you may wish to have.
Alright. Unless we think there's end of dungeon loot somewhere else, we should probably just head down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Agreed.
So, are you piling into the elevator?
Yeah.
I'd suggest we take 2 trips, right? It seems like there's no way we could all fit in there.
We
It would
can.
be cramped, but it could be if someone's willing to be on top of the donkey.
I'll sit on my hover platform. Whoa. There we go. And
Well,
also,
Hanji
these are
picks up his
5 foot.
corner.
These are probably like 5 foot by 5 foot squares, kind of a thing. So they're not, you know.
It is very cramped space. Peter, right next to you is a one panel of buttons, and behind Kepwin is another. And they seem to have a bunch of labels in it, and you can check your translation devices and make a pretty good guess that these are not floor numbers, but they're identifying specific levels. And some of them are like maintenance 1, maintenance A, maintenance C, maintenance purple. Other ones are primary office. Like, hey, whoever worked here probably had an office. Okay. Others are like
Power generation, AI control.
Air control, sewage maintenance, that sort of thing as well. And there is one that actually seems to be, the panel also has sort of like lights that can light up, when you push the button, and one of them is already kind of blinking, sort of near the bottom. That seems to be saying,
Where we are.
computer system C.
Okay.
As best you can translate C.
Let's just push
Go
the
that
one
one.
that blinks.
Yep, blinky ones are always the best one to press.
All right, you push the button, the door closes, and you are now in the hands of the AI to.
Now we're
that's
all
where
gonna
we
die.
Yep.
And that's where we're going to end today's adventure.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Tune in next week.
Huzzah!
Yeah, tune in next week. We have new character creation.
So I'm going to go ahead and move you guys to the cross section here a little bit, and go ahead and reveal first of the areas here.
Uh-oh.
So guys are going down the elevator shaft and
Oh, shit.
into the ground, underground, to various areas where the
Underground.
doors are going to open up.
Are we wombling free by any chance?
I don't know.
Oh god, of course that's a very British thing, isn't it? Nobody probably knows what the Wombles are. Yeah,
Wombles are
sorry.
amazing.
Oh,
I know,
yeah,
I know
cool,
someone
they
had
were.
their nickname Womble, but that's about it.
It was a cool, like, 70s or 80s stop motion at a children's program.
Based on the moon. Well, not the moon, but
On a moot, no, Wimbledon Common. They were
Yeah.
in London, and
So I said
they
not
used
in-
to pick up litter.
yeah, I was thinking of something else for a second. But yeah, they were
Probably
cute.
Button Moon. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were adorable. Sorry, carry on.
Oh my god, these things are terrifying shrew creatures.
Close enough.
So,
Why is British children's television always horrifying?
The Wombles are not horrifying. How dare you?
They were adorable little things.
Forget the ones where it's people dressed up. That is not the Wombles. The ones where it's...
Thanks, wife, for the bonbons.
Ugh.
Now we're talking about
I-
wombles.
I see a stop motion one.
Yeah.
This
But
is
they're
pretty
adorable.
impressive stop motion. How do they do that with the fur without flashing or boiling?
I don't know.
high pressured air jets. Anywho, thank you players for hanging out and falling into this labyrinth of badness and plot that's just spiraling out of control very quickly.
We're fine.
I was kind of glad you kind of it's like, what are we actually doing here for at the end there?
Yeah, well, I got to the point where it's like, okay, fair enough. This is obviously a mission. So in game speak terms, we're going to accept this and go and do stuff because that's where we're being led. But it's
Yeah.
like, why are we actually going to help a random alien AI? And then I'm like, follow it. And then so I actually didn't know. So I just had to follow the breadcrumbs out loud and hope that someone would correct me if I was wrong. And between the lot of us, we've figured out actually what the fuck we're doing.
We're
We
trying to
know
keep
what we're
the system
doing now.
floating.
Then they will all forget for next week.
I'm
Yeah,
getting
probably.
some troubling Necron vibes off of this whole planet.
Shit. You know, if it ends up like the film Virus, then that you need to watch that film. It's a bit of a B movie in a way, but it's good. It's good, and the humans don't do well.
I had that as a comic book. Yeah.
Oh, was it really? Oh, are we talking about the same thing then? That's the question.
It was a comic book that was like made out of the movie.
Oh bloody hell! Yeah, the humans were used for spare parts for the machine.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah, very cool though. Anyway,
I
sorry.
was just thinking how much we would have annoyed Isaacs if we decided to land on top of the building instead of on the ground near the tent.
Yeah, we should have just landed next to the particle beam.
That is an option. Things would have turned out differently as far as what was revealed and what you encountered, of course. That is, you don't feel, like sometimes it may feel like there's a bit of a hallway situation going on here, but if you have good motivation to ignore it entirely, I am totally cool with that. So if you had decided to land on the biggest giant building or near it or something like that, it would have been a different situation, but you would have. That is always an option. So don't want to have you guys feel like you're bottled in.
I don't actually have a
No.
problem for the most part with linear stories as long as they're interesting, and this is an
Oh, yeah.
interesting story. I like it. So I'm happy with following a path, making decisions, having a little bit of role play, shooting some robots. Yeah, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So
Yeah, it's interesting.
As long as I don't get arrested and framed for a fucking serial killing murders, then I'll be absolutely fine.
In about 5 minutes time, doing a jailbreak for you, are we?
that'd be amazing.
Future jail. You are encased in carbonite inside an asteroid that's actually within a larger asteroid in orbit of a black hole. Good luck.
I don't like the sound of that.
And we have the 800-year-old crashed spaceship to go with us for the rescue.
Yes. The air's getting a little thin in here, guys. Gotta get over there really quickly and pick them up. Yeah, it's because we're in space and it leaks here. Anywho, let's go ahead and wrap this up here. So I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in today to for hanging out with us. You guys are pretty awesome, and anyone else who's streaming or recording, same thing to your viewers as well. So who are you guys? What are you about? Let's start at the top here. Malik, who are you this time?
Hi, Malak. Well, I'm always Malak. You have to say, except when I'm Yogoloth or when I'm Alex, or whatever. And I do some YouTubey stuff, but it's fine. And yeah, next.
Gepwin?
Oh, hi, I'm Gepwin. I do YouTube things under Gepwin. I'm on Twitter under Gepwin. Been playing through Fallout, doing some Minecraft things on the alternate channel. And Izix and I have been running a sci-fi podcast called Watches of Tomorrow that you can find at watchesoftomorrow.com or wherever podcasts are sold.
Yes. Peter?
I'm Peter from Peter Taylor Tix on YouTube and Twitch. I do all the gameplay stuff, and that's most of my stuff at the moment. Hope you enjoy it all.
Yes. He does all the gameplay.
All the gameplay. A lot of variety stuff.
Yes. And Van Velding, how you doing? Who are you?
I'm Van Velding. I make a podcast called The Beige and the Bold, where I watch Star Trek with a friend. That's about it.
Sweet. Excellent. And I'm, of course, Dr. Izix. I'm a person on the YouTubes and the Twitches and things like that. And you guys are pretty cool here. And you're delving into ancient ruins of an ancient dead civilization. And you might have an ally or you might have an antagonist here. But I will say that if that conversation had gone a different direction, you would have probably found yourselves being surrounded by robots. Just
Oh, great.
So you know.
Just read about robots. Narrow corridors, that's fine.
Yep. Anywho, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me. And of course, toodles. Woohoo!
Bye.
Later.
And I'll finish its business here. Or I hit the stop button.
Thank you for coming out, everybody. It's been much appreciated. I'm just going to end the stream now, but if you want to watch anything else, please do feel free to hang around. We will be... Video's already out today. Hope you enjoy it. Anyway, thank you for coming out, and I will see you all next time.
Probably smaller because that one is sort of the intro to sort of, help